Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. For all the new folks who don't know me yet, it's good to have you. Good to see you. And before we get started, might I ask you to give this a thumbs up and leave a comment and share it if you'd like. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you'll get a ding every time I put up a new video, because you'll want to see them all. Are you prepared for war, or are you preparing for war? That's the question for this morning, and that's what I want to get into here. Last night had an interesting conversation with my son, my oldest son. He came home after he'd been out with friends, and Kelly and I were just kind of sitting around in front of the fire, and Aiden came in, and we got to talking about different things. Talking about the trip that we're looking forward to and things. And then he brought up, or it was brought up, the possibility of war. And I was interested. I didn't say too much to begin with. And our son, he's 17, started talking about it. And he started down the path of what's going on in the world, what certain expectations could be about that, and what we should be doing to prepare for it. And none of it was precipitated, well, maybe a little, most of it was not precipitated by me. And he covered bases like you can't believe. Now, you may think that that's because he's my son and that I drummed this into him for years. And to an extent, only an extent, that's true. But I asked him, I says, where did you, because I'll tell you what, let me back up just a second. He explained the geopolitical environment far better than I've heard many, if not most people, 3 times his age, and many in the preparedness world. Okay. And I asked him, I said, where did you get this? Because I haven't really tried to pound it into the kids lately. I think that has a tendency to drive them away. Let them discover it on their own, with guidance, right? I said, well, how did you come to understand all of this so well? And you know what he said? He said, Twitter and TikTok. Yeah, I know that's a surprise. Now, that's the first surprise. We're going to get to the main topic here in a minute. But that's what I wanted to get out of the way. 2 things. First off, the young people, the younger generation that takes so many hits from the older generations, which took hits from previous generations. So I don't think that most people in generations learn. They don't realize. They think that the younger people are all worthless, and they don't realize, and they think they're all it, and they don't remember or realize that the generations before them thought they were worthless. So, we should probably get past that, get over, ourselves on that. This generation, these new generations, these younger generations are super smart. And they are smart about things that we aren't necessarily smart about, at least speaking for myself. So that's the first thing. I asked him what his friends thought about these things. He says exactly the same way. An increasing number of younger people consider themselves conservative. They are not the liberal, painted toenails, green hair people that the entire generation is made out to be. So they shouldn't be characterized as that. They are smart, and they are our future. And I thank the good Lord that I am discovering, and I've known for a while, but I thank the good Lord that the younger generations are not as stupid as they are made out to be by many people. The second thing, before we get to the main topic of war and whether it's going to be EMP or cyber, is that the vehicles through which these people are learning. And when I asked him, I said, and when I asked him where he came to understand all this, he said, TikTok and Twitter. And then he said, well, and then you guys, speaking of Kelly and I, he's just been around us, he's heard us talking. So that gave him more of a bedrock understanding, a foundation, certainly. But the entire generation, his generation and older, are getting their information from TikTok and Twitter. Now, I know that many people out here, many preppers as opposed to PMPs, preparedness-minded people, okay, immediately dismiss TikTok. It's Chinese. I've gone through this before. And Twitter, oh, so you want to stay off of that, they're spying on you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If you don't want all the information in the world, that's up to you. You're making a mistake. You're making a big mistake by completely avoiding good major sources of information. Yes, they're spying on you through your phone and your things like that, but so is our government. Wherever you live, whether United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, your government's spying on you, So to get all incensed that China is also, I don't understand that, to be honest. But you know what? They're getting information from these information sources, and if you're not, you're keeping yourself from valuable information. So you do what you want to on that. I could probably get into it a little bit harder, and I probably should. Maybe I will later in this video, maybe not. Maybe I'll do another one. But when it came down to it, and we started talking about how you think it will happen, and he expressed his concerns, and we discussed the possibility of major upheaval over the next 10 months, and that's because of the elections. Okay, that's because of the elections. Either we are going to be perceived as to be weak, which invites attack, or we will see something happen, shall we say, I know there's all sorts of things that would, get us in trouble here. Shall we say that we bring it on ourselves? And that doesn't mean that you and I are bringing it on ourselves. That's meaning saying that the people who should be watching out for us are the ones bringing it home. We all know instances of that have happened in the past. So we talked about how we thought it might happen, whether it would be an EMP attack, a cyber, and I explained to him, and I'll share it with you now, that I don't think that it's going to be an EMP attack. I think there's much greater chance that it's going to be a cyber attack. Now, the effects of those on us are going to be pretty much the same. So why do I think cyber, and why do not so much EMP right now? First off, most other countries don't want to take us over. I know that there's this idea that, it's spread around amongst the internet. The Chinese want to invade, the Chinese want to take us over, the Chinese this, the Chinese that. And certainly, I understand that there is a lot of Chinese coming across our border. But for the most part, those, now, sleeper cells, yeah, I get it. Those are, I don't have time to get into all the reasons that they could be here. So let me simply say, China wants our continued market, okay? You don't destroy your biggest market. Simple as that. And I understand that people are starving in China, and I understand that they would like our farmland, but they're buying it. They don't have to invade us to get it. They're buying it. They have huge, marijuana grow operations in our country. They're sending in fentanyl precursor to Mexico to come up and hollow out the rest of this rotten stump that's our country even more, setting us up to, for a greater weakness. Yeah, setting us up. I get all that. But as far as invading us and initiating that with an EMP, no, I don't believe that. Russia also is not going to do that unless it's at a limited scope. Okay. Now, either one of them could do this easily and without, and in many cases, it would be very difficult to know who was behind it. Okay. And you've heard me say before, because I wrote books on this, for those of you who are new and don't know it, I am the guy that wrote the Stone Mont series. The complete series about everything crashing down. In this case, it was a CME. Everything crashed, and 6 books full of great advice on survival and preparedness. If you do what's in here, you'll be prepared for anything. So yeah, they might want to take portions of our country down. Now, they could take the whole country down, and it wouldn't take much. And I'll just go through this very quickly, because I know a lot of channels are out there. They do talk about EMP and things like that. And while I know that they mean well, they don't really know a lot about it. There are 3 major grids in our country: East, West, and Texas. And it doesn't take much. There's about 4,000 major transformers around the country. It takes up to a year to replace just one of them now, and they're not made in the United States anymore. So if in any of those grids, if you just take out anywhere from 10 to 12, the cascading effect will pretty much shut down the whole grid. And even if it didn't, if it will take out the sections that they are most immediately responsible for supplying. Okay, so say that New York goes out, and Texas goes out, and Los Angeles goes out. Can you imagine the chaos that would create for the countrywide? Okay, not to mention that, and here I'll throw in this figure, because it's important to keep in mind. The estimate is a 90% die-off within the first 12 months in an affected area of EMP or CME. Okay, so you can imagine after a few days the chaos that's going to ensue, the number of people that are going to start dying from, bad water, starvation, societal collapse, the violence that comes with societal collapse, illness, injuries that can't be treated with modern medicine, all of these things. They could do it easily just by popping a nuke off of pop a Scud missile off a freighter. They could be 20 miles outside our international waters, outside the eastern seaboard, another one off the western seaboard, and another one down in the Gulf, and at the same time they all go poop, and nobody down on the ground would know what had happened. They wouldn't know that there had been a nuclear high altitude EMP. Just everything would go off. Okay. All electricity and electronics, I would say that. Imagine what happens there. Now, that would be countrywide. If, however, because they don't really want to take out the infrastructure. Those countries don't want to take out the infrastructure. If they want our country, they want the infrastructure intact. They don't want a blown grid or 3 blown grids that they have to come in and fix themselves. If that was their, final goal, which I don't believe it is. There are a couple of actors that would do that. First off, North Korea. If China doesn't keep its thumb on North Korea, North Korea, they are something to deal with, right? And they could do it. They could do it at least, and we know that they have satellites going across. China has satellites going across our country twice a day. We don't know what's on that satellite. If it's a nuclear weapon, that would everything off. If however, the other one is Iran. Okay, the Iran would want to take us out. They don't care about taking over. What they want is for the final battle, and they call us the Big Satan, the Great Satan. They want the final battle that in their religion brings on the 13th Mahdi or something like that. It's been a long time since I read it, but whatever it is. It brings on the end times, Armageddon, and they want that. That's a major and important part of their religion. And so when you are dealing with people driven by, I won't say all religion, there are religions, and if they call themselves the religions of peace, wanting to destroy us is not exactly peace, right? Except they see us as the Great Satan. Deal with the reality of it, not, whether it's right or wrong. Now those are possibilities. Another possibility, however, is that they simply take out a portion and as a sign. Number one, back channels, they tell Uncle Joe, all of a sudden, pop, the Northeast goes out. Got it. They said they back channel Uncle Joe and says, hey, we did it. And here's what we want. And if you don't give it to us, and you can go on TV and radio and you can make yourself look good, but unless you dance to our tune, we have another one ready and we're not telling you where it is. Okay, they could do that. I think, however, that the more likely scenario is a cyber attack. Now, we know that we have cyber attacks inbound all the time. There's a map somewhere, you can find it if you Google it, that will show you all the inbound cyber attacks that we stop on a daily basis, or we think we do. And you can decide for yourself whether you think that's real or not, but we know that a number of our institutions have been the victims of cyber attacks. In some cases, utilities, in some cases, banking. They could do that. Now, let's stay on foreign enemies for just a minute before we get back to our own, right? They could take out portions. They could take out a portion of a country. They could take the grid down, by attacking grid providers in a whole section. That would do, two things like the other would. That would send a message, hey, here we are, better do what we say. And it would create a chaos that would, again, have the cascading effect that all resources from at least a region of the country, if not the entire country, would be sent and focused on restoring power to that area as people start dying quickly. And they would. Now, if you think that our government can respond to that, I'll refer you back to Katrina and remind you how well they did with that. Okay, so no, this would be something that would be, I think beyond our ability. Whether it's beyond our ability to deal with, and I do think that it is, at least it's beyond their desire to help with this, probably. We are a paper tiger, not our technology, not our military hardware. There's a lot of paper tigers in our military now, I mean, it's unbelievable when you see the people going into the military in many cases, not all cases. There's still some good people going into the military. Some exceptional people in the military. I just found out that the son of some friends of ours is about to make major in the Marine Corps, and he is the kind that we need. We have too many of the other kind filling our military. And you know why the military recruitment is down so much? Because the right people aren't going in. They're not going in. So anyway, they could, a cyber attack is totally possible. They wouldn't have to take down a portion of the grid necessarily. They could take down a banking system. They could take down the credit card debit processing system. You know what kind of havoc that would make. And I understand people are going to say, well, that's why you need cash. And I have preached that. Okay, you need cash at home. And you need to be ready for this. But we're dealing with realities right here and the effect that it's going to have over most of society. And the effect that it has over most of society is what's going to present a danger to you. So you just have to do all the things that you know to do to prepare for this. Okay, food, water, shelter, defense, money, cash, blah, blah, blah. So they could take down those systems. They can take down hospital systems. They can take down all sorts. Okay, you just run with it. Any system that they want to take down, you understand the havoc it would create. Now that's if a foreign actor does it. What if it's not a foreign actor? What if, as things degrade and one side of our political system sees that they are in great danger of losing the upcoming election? And I explained to my son, I think this is the more likely scenario right now. And they say, we're going to cyber attack ourselves and blame it on the Ruskies or the Chinese or whoever. We're going to blame it on somebody else. Taking down, how about right before the election? Could be any time during the next 10 months. What if right before the election? And the votes aren't able to get in? Everything is disrupted? They can do it to whatever extent they want to. Small, medium, or large, right? Would you like me to supersize that problem for you? They will. They'll take it to whatever extent they think they need to in order to avoid losing. And we can say, here is the situation that, people were concerned about Russia using nukes in Ukraine. And would they use nukes if as a last resort they thought they were going to lose and they were going to go under and the NATO powers ganged up on them and they started, invading Russia? You think they wouldn't use a nuke? Up till now, we are the only ones who have used a nuke, right? So if we've used them in order to save lives, don't think that somebody else won't in order to save their country and their power and all that. I understand that. Well, if they would do it, you don't think our people would? I mean, we have, the most corrupt, evil leadership in this country. I mean, from the very top through the legislature, through our enforcement agencies, it's corrupt. It is an apple with just most of the skin still on it. When you get in there, it's nothing but worms and chewed up applesauce. So you think that our side wouldn't do that? I think they would. And I am preparing for it. And I think you should too. So whether our grid goes down, whether it's as a result of an EMP or a cyber attack, may make a difference to the ones who did it. Okay, whether or not they want the infrastructure maintained or not, it wouldn't make a big difference to us. When the grid goes down, the grid goes down. And all of those things that depend on the grid are off. Until it's either rebuilt or the people who took it down by cyber decide to turn it back on. And do you think they're going to care how you feel about it? No. They're going to wait until it has done the amount of destruction they want it to. In the martial arts, in the fight game, we had a saying, the fight's over when the winner says it is. Okay, that's in a real fight. None of this, submitting. We're not going to tap. No. In a real fight, they're going to finish the choke or they're going to knock him out. And then they'll continue the beating as long as they want to. And that's a reality that more people need to understand. Okay. Be a preparedness-minded person. And what that means is, that I've gotten away from using that term that I hate, prepper. A preparedness-minded person is one who takes a look at potential threats seriously, clear-eyed, understanding the realities of the world, not living a prepper fantasy, but seeing things as they really are, and makes it a part of their life to prepare to be able to survive it and continue to do well. And it can be done. Generations of people have shown that it can. It's sad that too many people nowadays, even in the preparedness community are determined to say it can't be done. They want to live in the negative, not in the positive, and I encourage you to live in the positive. Understand all the threats. There's a lot of threats, a lot of dangers in this world. A lot of things can happen to really make horrible things head your way. But whether you allow that to affect you is up to you, and how much effort you put into preparing for it. Okay? All right. As I let you go, I'll remind you that this and all my videos are brought to you by The Complete Plan. The Complete Plan of how to prepare for, survive, and rebuild after a complete collapse of everything, the Stonemont series. The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. Yeah, I'm working on number 7 right now. And they're available through Amazon. You can get them in paperback or Kindle, and brand new Audible. They are now, the entire series is available on Audible, and it is going like great guns on Audible. I know a lot of people have asked about it. A lot of people like to listen to things while they're doing other things. A lot of people who are on the road, a lot of police, a lot of all people who spend a lot of time in their vehicles. They like to be able to listen to Audible. And I've had 2 people already. They've only been on Audible for a week or 2, something like that. I've had people tell me they have listened to the whole thing twice, the whole series twice already. And you will enjoy it. Now, another way you can get it, if you'd like to get them from me autographed, you can do that through our website, stonemont.us. I love to do that. I just got a new load of books in yesterday, and I'm going to spend a lot of today signing books and getting them packed up to go out in the mail tomorrow. So I love doing that, and you can find the link for the stonemont.us website down below. So get those, and you'll learn stuff. You will learn a lot. Plus, it's a great story. You're going to love the story. But think about what's coming. And think about it seriously. Understand that these are serious threats. And a lot of people have difficulty really internalizing the seriousness of the threat because most people haven't been faced with those kinds of threats. We prepare for things that haven't happened because we don't want them to do the job on us when they do, right? Okay. So be a preparedness-minded person, a PMP. Take it seriously and take serious steps towards mitigating the effects of whatever may come your way. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And part of the preparation, sit down and have some discussions with your family or your friends. Serious people, not people who are going to go off, and either dismiss it completely or go crazy on it. Think about it seriously. It's a serious problem. Serious problems require serious solutions. Think about it. Develop your plan. What are you going to do? And I'll be interested to hearing what you have to say down in the comments below. And I didn't even say this. If you're not with us on the Patreon channel, on our Patreon channel, that link is down below too. Come on over there. We have some real serious folks over there. And I just put up and I'm also reading the Audible for people who want to hear me read it over on the Stonemont level of the Patreon channel. I think I'm up to chapter 16 now, something like that, of the Revival, the second book. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Get back to doing things around here today. You all have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.